raiders. Plumb the depths of their experience to make sense of a world gone completely insane. Subscribe for the word. Like and leave a comment. Stranger by the hour.
And I don't think I do this anymore, but if I do, it's a lot more rare. I used to just talk shit nonstop about everybody and everything, and I'll do it in a funny way. You know what I mean? So it's like, but the fun, like the humor is camouflaged for the fact where it's like it work. You know, like maybe if somebody got like a school sleeve I wanted or something, and I didn't get it, I would say some shit. You know, and I'd be joking, but I'd be like, that fucking dude just got here. You know, and I'd do it in kind of a funny way.
Yeah.
But that's just camouflage for me being a hater, you know, and like in
player haters ball.
And in general, I do think being a hater is I don't have enough time or fuel in the tank to spend on that. However, I see this differently because this is not just like, the background of this Tim Kennedy thing is so for the non-military, because normal people don't give a fuck about, you know, you have to be in the military or like in this like whole bro vet kind of universe. And we're not in the bro vet universe.
No, we're in a weird
which is why
spot.
Aside from just being mildly annoyed by the fact that he lisps and everywhere I look, he's there. I didn't have a strong opinion about Tim Kennedy, even though on one of my contractor deployments, the guy that ran the SAC, the Green Beret Warrant Officer, had been in the 7th Group SIF with Kennedy and hated him. And it just came up because while I was on that deployment, Kennedy was in Africa on like a fucking boondoggle. Like he was like not on an ODA or something, but he's out there and he's like out there doing JSET type shit or whatever. And he's on his Instagram, he's posting all these pictures of him like holding security on some building or whatever. And he's got the most fucking boogered up 511 gear possible. And like, this is getting in the weeds, but maybe they do now, but historically 511 has not made good gear. They make like dork.
It's like the Walmart.
It's Walmart
of
shit.
Tactical gear.
It's the shit that the like DynCorp generator mechanic. It's the cargo pants that dude wears.
Yeah,
because because they sell in the PX where he went through his training to go overseas. Or something.
Right.
It's dog shit gear, but they pay Tim Kennedy a bunch of money, so he reps it, and so we're all looking at it. We're in the fucking sack, like in the warrant officer's like this fucking homo, you know, and he's like, we're all laughing about it because it's like, what a dipshit. Like, you got issued cry fucking jumpable plate carrier and spear gear and shit.
Yeah.
Far superior to this fucking
multicam.
Yeah. You got cool shit.
Yeah.
You're wearing dumb shit because they pay you. Okay, great. So, but aside from that, I didn't really think about the dude until, and so his book that I did buy and I have read.
Good.
I fucking just got done wiping the vomit off my fucking sweet Samsung tablet here. But, so he wrote this book a couple of years ago. And he's only on my radar because this podcast, the Anti-Heroes podcast, which I like those guys. At first, I was like, I don't care about cops at all.
I don't care about coffee, cops, or cigars.
There you go. Yeah. I don't care about bro business or vet business stuff, except for like homie Chris's ice cream shop because that's cool.
Shout out,
yeah,
free
like,
ice cream.
That seems cool. But like, but in general, me and you are not like. Dude, and the one, I don't want to say anything, but like the one guy we know that's like a bro vet influencer.
Yeah.
We are highly annoyed by him. So it's like.
We are not what I recently heard referred to from another former SEAL Team 6 guy. We are not holster sniffers.
Holsters? What does that mean?
like you know,
you want to, hey, what kind of holsters that?
Yeah, dudes that are just all about the fucking, hey man, like it is what it is if it's part of your business and you have to do it. You know, you have to be up on all the current tactical shit to do the thing. But like you and I were never gun guys. I got the thing from the Armory. The Armory gave me some shit.
Dude, even as a sniper instructor, which is this is gun guy territory.
Yeah.
Like almost everybody I worked with was like gun. Dude, they're into it. I knew everything you could possibly know about the weapon systems they issued me and almost nothing about anything else.
That was I was
dude, I could tell you how many grains in this bullet and I could tell you why and I could tell you how many twists per fucking inch in the barrel, how much everything weighs, of course, why this is better than that for this situation. But if you ask me one fucking single thing about a LaRue,
I'll be like, what?
Bro, someone that cares about this shit,
is over there.
bro, to the point where like they would have discussions at MARSOC, like what kind of mount should we get for this night? And I would just kind of look around and be like,
Who knows?
hey, when you guys figure it out, you show me how it works.
Yeah.
That's it. So, okay. So we're not in that world, but the Anti-Heroes podcast, despite my aversion to kind of like how it's presented, like, I'm not going to like this. I like those guys. I like the cop guy. I like the Delta Force guy. Anyways, they are kind of in the business of, they took down some big targets. They took down Marcus Luttrell, who honestly, I figured there was some bullshit in that story, but I didn't know they got blown off that hill and he booked it.
And the full takedown of that dude is to come. They haven't done like the one where
Marcus Luttrell.
Yeah, the guys who I believe, I might be wrong, that I think they're having a guy come on that was on like the crew that picked him up.
Okay.
Who can be like, yeah, that dude fired like 7 rounds.
He had all his bullets
out of 1 mag or some shit. Yeah.
And yes, so they took him down. They're
Rob O'Neill.
Rob O'Neill's completely full of shit,
Yeah.
like unanimously, like everyone knows. And then they're like hot on Jocko's tail. And it seems like Jocko, like, besides just kind of being annoying, like telling people that like hard stuff is good, hard stuff's good. Okay. He didn't really do anything dishonest. He just was like running that SEAL task force in Ramadi and like doing shit that the SEALs shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah.
And letting Chris Kyle just fucking bean everybody with a sniper rifle to the point where the Marines were like, dude, we have to like walk around here with all these people all the time, and they fucking hate us because you're murdering everybody. Like,
right.
So this is kind of shit, right? But those, again, I didn't really care about that. The reason I found, when I heard their 3-hour podcast about the Tim Kennedy thing, you get kind of pulled into the drama, and it is kind of like veteran, like sewing circle type shit. But I couldn't believe what I was hearing them read out of the book.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. And it was so egregious that it's like, but this is why it matters. Just to get back to your point, like inside that book, and we can talk about some of the specifics of it, he makes a bunch of outrageous claims about his life, about his military career. And it's the kind of shit where if you spend your whole life in the military, you immediately know. And it doesn't even have to be soft guy stuff. Like he gets into like a thing in boot camp where he tells the drill instructors he's going to beat their ass or whatever. And he backs his drill instructors down or
There's
whatever,
several of those that I haven't read the book, but I heard people talk about several of those instances. Yeah.
But okay. So this stuff's so obvious. Like you spend your whole life in it, you know immediately that it's bullshit. But one of the things in the book, and this is why you're like, this is why it matters. He's in the book talking about this, this convoy they go on, which is like the kind of the main combat story in the book, is this lame convoy that they get in a bunch of ticks and he tells a bunch of lies about. But one of the thread that permeates throughout it is that they're fighting Iranian fighters in Orzgan.
Well, that's what made me think. That's what made my radar start pinging, because look, folks, like General Clark just said,
this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Iran is the last target on the fucking map.
Yeah, dude.
Right. And so if you get a guy like a Kennedy, now look, man, I don't live with the guy. I don't know the people he talks to. I don't know how he gets fucking information stuck in his ear. But how else would you come up with somebody telling you to put Iranians in your fucking book if they don't want that to get into the zeitgeist of the people, right? They want you to think like, oh, these Iranians were stymieing our operations across all these fucking places, like in Afghanistan. Like I had never heard of an Iranian in Afghanistan.
Okay, just so
across
people,
3 deployments.
So people doesn't think that we're just whistling Dixie. We'll just go basically over why, like, we would know if there was Iranians out there or not. Okay, so we each do 3 combat deployments out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. You must remember because you're EOD. On the 07 deployment, when we got into country, when we were at Camp Brown, where he did a deployment working out of Kandahar. When we're at Camp Brown, some dude, and in retrospect, I think he was a sexy lab guy. He might have been a jet, but we didn't know any of that shit was back then. You probably knew what the lab was, but like to me, it's just like some dude shows up, right?
Yeah.
And all he says is, "Hey, look, there's these munitions that we found that have been popping up. There's some Iranian material out there. If you find it, this is what it looks like. This is how it's marked. This is how it's different from this type of thing or whatever. It's important to us, to track that. So if you guys find any shit you can determine it looks like Iranian or whatever, make sure it gets whisked back here to this place so we can track it. That's the last fucking time
Yeah.
I heard mention of Iran anything
I don't even
through-
remember that.
through
so.
the course of those 3 combat deployments, and then 2 more. How many times did I fucking go out there? 2 or 3 more times as a contractor working in the sensitive activity cell.
Where you would hear
Clo-
about some
Dude,
Iranians.
close interaction with the labs all the time.
Yeah.
Close interaction. Oh, by the way, working for JIDO and DITRA, Defense Threat Reduction. Like, dude, Iran stuff was happening in Iraq. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
We worked on it. Like, I worked intimately. We worked on it.
Yeah.
It was not happening in Afghanistan, or I would have been working on it. It's not possible that it was happening and I wasn't working on it, because that's the thing I did.
Right. Dude, somebody would, this is one of those things, folks. Like it would be getting talked about. And this is when I guess if you have a few of Tim's stories picked out, this shit isn't a secret, man. Like when you're in the game, right? You're in sensitive activities. You usually talk to other sensitive activity cells. You talk, this is called the X realm. It's operations, and it's operations X. So 3X for people that know what's up, 2X, the intelligence portion of it. You hear stuff because everybody's always waiting to see these things and hear these things. So if you find an Iranian explosively formed fucking penetrator or projectile, that report gets circulated around. Everybody fucking sees
Dude,
it.
and even those, that's just an Iranian TTP. We'd think that they got that information. Like, we thought that they got that the EFP thing from.
Yeah.
We think it's an Iranian technology, basically.
Right. No, it's an American technology.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Well,
okay. So, but why that is important is because you wonder. Okay, so the normal procedure for getting these books written is that they go through DoD approval.
yeah.
And so the Anti-Heroes guys, go, if you're at all interested in this stuff, go listen to their podcast. They did a very specifically that guy Brent.
Mhm.
Okay, so Brent is a retired Delta Force operator in good standing, meaning nobody's saying that he got kicked out of the unit for being weird. By all accounts, he was like an 82nd Airborne guy. No, he was a Ranger Regiment guy, then a Green Beret. No, he was a grunt, then a Green Beret, then a Delta Force guy.
Green Beret in the reserves.
Okay. And then,
if I recall correctly.
Okay, so in any case,
but it doesn't matter. Delta trumps everything.
No,
The
and
fucker
none
was
of
in Delta for a long time.
and none of the people that are mad that he's coming after Tim Kennedy are coming after him because he's
He's
above
clean.
reproach. He's clean.
Yeah.
And the cop guy's clean too. They
Yeah.
have no. Okay, so he was able to leverage. When you're a defo dude in good standing, you have a bunch of contacts. Like, people, everyone in the military dick rides those guys. So
And
you can
people
pick
wanna
up the
talk
phone.
to you.
Yeah, so you can pick up
Yeah.
the phone and go, "Hey, this is Brent, defo operator in good standing. I got some questions to ask about fuckface." And then they go, "Yeah, that guy sucks, and let's talk about it."
Because you're not going to lie to a Delta dude.
Bro, dude has access to Ranger School to call and check the honor grad claim. Has access to the special forces groups. Has access to these people that Tim mentions by name in his book,
Kennedy
Open
Special
Book.
Warfare Center.
All of it. So
Yeah.
So anyways, in the process of digging all this shit up, he the other thing that happens is he reveals that Tim Kennedy is now a member of the 19th group or 20th group, whichever. He's in the Maryland National Guard. I think that's 20th group, but I'm not sure.
He's still on somebody's books.
It's either 19th or 20th group where he's a Sergeant First Class fucking ODA guy. Okay. He gets paid by the National Guard as an official spokesperson for the Guard. So that came out in a subsequent podcast that the Anti-Heroes guys did.
Yeah.
Okay. So the DoD's paying him to be a recruiting tool. He didn't go through the whole process of getting this book authorized by the DoD.
Okay.
So he kind of can say whatever the fuck he wants in this book, and the Army can be like, "Well, he didn't show it to us." So I don't know, maybe that happened, maybe it didn't, or whatever. But it's just pretty convenient that threaded throughout the main combat story in this book is this shit about Iran. So I think this book, that it's not for military guys to read, because almost unilaterally, anybody with ground combat experience in Afghanistan is going to reject this shit outright. It's so fucking egregious. I think the book is not. I think the target audience, because he didn't write it. It's got this Nick.
It's a ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter, but it's Nick Pomascanato or some bullshit, like another Brovet guy who
Okay.
writes books for other dudes too. It's like part of this thing.
I should contact this dude.
And the people that he has backing him up are people he's in fucking business with. Like Marcus Luttrell
Right.
and fucking, all the like famous Brovet guys are like, no, Tim Kennedy's solid. How dare you? He does so much good for people, blah, blah, blah.
You know what? There's a parallel to this, and the parallel is, I watch a ton of shit all the time, man. But I fell back down a Patrice O'Neal rabbit hole
Yeah, that dude
pretty
rules,
recently
yeah.
because just Patrice is just like,
You fucking black truther comedian.
yeah, black
dude. He's
black
the
prophet
shit. Yeah.
Patrice O'Neal,
Yeah.
peace be upon him. So there was a documentary made about Patrice O'Neal, and it's got a bunch of the bigger name comics in it, like Bill
Yeah.
Burr, because everybody agrees that Patrice should have been way fucking bigger than he was. But Patrice's thing was, I want to be able to live as a fucking righteous man. I will not take the money over my ability to be righteous.
Yeah.
So what they all say is like, well, they turn it. The reason why Patrice wasn't more famous, they turn it back on him. Like, oh, well, he pissed the fucking studio exec off. Like some studio exec would be like, hey, let's do this. And Patrice would be like, ugh.
Yeah, he had
ugh.
integrity.
Like he would literally go, ugh.
He wouldn't wear the dress.
Yeah, he wouldn't wear the fucking
proverbially,
dress, right?
yeah.
And now fast forward, you got the same people saying the same shit about Cat Williams, right? Like
Yeah.
Chris Hart is on the fucking morning show or whatever saying that like, yeah, Cat Williams was supposed to be the next guy, but he didn't take the deal. So it's so now Cat's just jealous and that he didn't take the fucking, basically the Epstein
He
deal.
didn't take the deal,
He
yeah.
didn't take the Diddy deal.
Yeah.
So everybody is like, okay, it's 2024, and the gatekeepers of all these fucking or the people that are fucked up in all these different areas are being revealed,
Yeah.
right? Well, of course, the fucking military has people like this,
Yes.
and it's the Tim Kennedys, the fucking Jockos. It's the my problem with these people. You hit it on the head with the propaganda shit. That book is not for us because we know it's bullshit.
Yeah.
He wants to sell this war idea, both the conduct of it and the future enemy, the Iranians,
Yep.
to the next generation.
Dude, check it out. We can diagram this. We can diagram this whole thing out. Okay, so you've got these fucking public veteran guys, right? So
Yeah.
and they're paying. They're broadcasting. So you got Tim Kennedy, Jocko. You've got who's the fucking shot Bin Laden dickhead?
Rob O'Neill,
Rob O'Neill. Who else? You've got
Luttrell.
Like these are the main ones, kind of, right? Ding, 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 ding. And then so they're over here pinging, right? If you go back through, the next node is Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
So here's Joe Rogan, and then it's not just Rogan because it's Rogan's sphere of influence. So it's
Yes.
Rogan, it's Lex Friedman, it's that Huberman guy, it's comedian Shane Gillis, who's like always talking about the SEALs. Like these guys hang out with soft guys. They hang out
Yes.
with SEAls, and it's so annoying. Like when I hear celebrities say the word team guys, when I hear a SEAL say team guys, it doesn't bother me at all because
Right.
that's how they refer to one another.
Yeah.
When I hear a civilian who just like hangs out with Navy SEAls say team guys, as if they're like, it's just something, it makes me,
It feels a little
fucking crazy.
weird.
It feels weird.
Yeah.
But so it's just like a thing, and they're pinging through Rogan, right? So to what end, right? Well, you got to sell the shit. Like, dude, you have to like have the front facing personalities of this foreign policy apparatus be shit that young men look up to.
Right.
Who better than Tim Kennedy? Fucking you. It's because the actual truth is he is a UFC fighter,
Right.
like UFC champion type guy. He is a Green Beret. He is a graduate of Sodic and Sawick. I mean, after failing, whatever, he is a Ranger qualified. All those things are true.
Do we all had guys on the team? We all had team guys.
Yeah.
We all had guys on the team that made it onto the team, but everybody was kind of like, this guy sucks.
Yes.
Doesn't matter that he passed the qual. Some of these quals aren't hard, man. It's not hard to shoot
Bro,
a fucking
no-
target.
They're not hard.
Well,
they're hard.
they're not hard to dudes in the game.
Bro, this is like once you're in the game, let's kind of everybody knows most of these things, if you just don't quit. Now,
Yeah.
some of them are very specific, like Sodic, Solid. Some of these actual quals that require you to do a very specific thing to standard, a little different. But like just becoming a Green Beret, Ranger qualified, fucking MARSOC guy, it's the game is kind of like stay here long enough, don't quit.
Yeah.
And you get, not that you get pushed through it, but you, through training, through repetition, through submitting to this the programs are effective. It's not that they push you through and a bunch of dudes that are shitbags make it that shouldn't. It's not really like that. It's that even if you if you just go with the program, you just don't quit, you show up every fucking day and you try, the program will change you. People, and that's how it works.
It'll
they work
almost
as
carry
designed.
you forward.
Yeah,
basically.
for sure. They work as designed, you know.
But back to real talk, and they've sort of like hinted at it, I think, before on those podcasts we named already. Is the dude during that combat tour that he keeps talking about to Afghanistan was an LNO, a liaison officer.
Yeah.
Dude, we would send people to LNO duty when they fucking got in trouble,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
Like
Yeah.
our team sergeant flashbanged the Air Force cook.
Yeah.
We had this fucking Air Force cook come out to us, and he used to like to hang out. He's like an E3 or some shit. And he used to like to hang out with the guys and play cards well into the night.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we don't have shit to do tomorrow. Like, just train the Afghans next door, but come fucking 6 a.m, there better be some goddamn eggs made.
Yeah,
you know?
dude.
So the team sergeant's thing was, hey, you can soar with the fucking owls at the, how do you say
If you
it?
stay up all night hooting with the owls, you got to get up in the morning and soar with the eagles.
Right. Right. And we all talked about this before. You were judged on your ability to get hammered drunk until 4:30 and then PT at 6:30. You know,
that's
like,
the real soft qualification.
yeah, is can you do your job while hammered fucking drunk? But
Yeah.
so the kid wasn't waking up, and Big Sarge got mad at him and fucking chucked a flashbang in his room, right? So
Which is a wild thing to do.
yeah, so he fucking pisses and moans about it to somebody, and Big Team Sarge has to go up to the SOTF, to the Special Operations Task Force,
Yep.
do a little LNO job, you know.
Yeah, get put in the penalty box.
Yeah, and then him and one of the sergeants on the team were beefing because I don't know, Big Sarge had been in for the sergeant.
He was a lot. Big Sarge.
Big Sarge
Yeah,
was
I
a
know.
lot. I'm not gonna say the guy's name.
AJ.
Yeah. AJ was a lot. AJ was beefing with a dude we'll call Benno, for lack of a better term, just one name. Yeah. Because Benno was like a real cerebral kind of fucking dude, but he was good at his gig, but it's like, hey man, like you haven't had that much combat time to be fucking beefing with this dude over here, right?
Yeah.
And plus, I'm pretty sure that guy will sock you to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, so so we sent Benno to be the LNO. We're like, hey, off you. Hey, Mikey's now the fucking elder.
Yeah.
Benno, you fuck off. Go somewhere else for a while. Go cool your jets as the LNO. Tim was the fucking LNO. That's the people you get as the LNO, is the people that the team doesn't want with them.
Well, yeah, and
mostly
there's exceptions to that, of course, but because sometimes like some of those LNOs, like there's a responsible way to go about that. Instead of just offloading your trouble, you could be like, hey, look, this is a guy we're grooming for, maybe like,
you want to get him
go
some
see
face
how
time
it
with the
works.
old man.
Yeah, go see how it works at the higher level. Increase your understanding of the organization. Totally normal. But in his specific case, he was the LNO to the foreign soft element. So there's like French, British, Italian,
soft, Czech soft.
And then in his case of this amazing combat story, he's with the Czech SAW guys, which and he describes them. He inflates their prowess a little bit, but like these dudes are legit. And there's a part in the book that he talks about. He takes out a Shytech 408 at this fob and starts fucking shooting people with it from fob Anaconda.
That's the Anaconda one.
Definitely didn't happen. But like in one of the other, not the Anti-Heroes podcast, but another one, in the Anti-Heroes one, they're referencing another podcast where Tim Kennedy's on a podcast and the guy's like, you gotta, because Shytech 408 is not part of the SOCOM armament, right?
Right.
And Det 1 had one for testing. So this is the only reason I've ever even seen one. I never fired one, but I've seen one because Det 1 had one that they were like testing. When we inherited all of Det 1's gear, we got one, but it was like on loan from Shytech and we gave it back like right away.
Yeah.
But anyways, they don't exist in SOCOM Armory. The Czech SAW guys definitely had them because when we got to Price, we did a little who the fuck our master sergeant boss was like, hey, get all the snipers together, go liaison with the Czech snipers and show, see if get a sniff around, see what their capabilities are. We thought we were gonna go over there and show them some shit.
Yeah,
bro, we went over there and like, first of all, Tim Kennedy is correct. These guys are like Vikings. They're like all 6'4" and like carved out of fucking granite.
They're probably not testing them for performance enhancers.
No, those guys were, dude. But so we go to liaison with these guys and immediately are embarrassed comparing our equipment to theirs. They had all the cool shit. They had a Shytech 408. They had, so okay, it's conceivable that he got that from them, but also what I think is more likely is he knew they had them.
Yeah.
And he just put it in his story because it's cool. it's not likely to me that they're like, sure, Tim Kennedy, have our fucking very rare, very expensive
And that's how
Shy-Tech
he
408.
that's how he sold it, was that he had a chance as a coalition asset, as a fucking liaison. He had a chance to bounce through all these different like areas. So he was kind of explaining it, how he would get access to all the coolest kit. But explain to me this, man. You've been a sniper team leader. You've been in charge of serialized gear.
Yeah.
Would you ever in your fucking life hand a weapon system to some dude who's not even going to be with you? Like,
no fucking way.
like,
Plus, here's the other thing. The shot. So he claims to have taken like a 1,438 yard shot with the Shy-Tech
yeah,
and hit a guy in the head, domed a guy from. So okay, regular 308 sniper rifle, you're looking at like 1,000 yards, and you're not taking headshots at 1,000 yards. If you hit someone in the head at 1,000 yards, it's probably an accident. You know what I mean? You're taking body shots.
yeah,
Okay, but the Shy-Tech 408 is a very heavy round, very flat shooting round. And in order to, so that thing can shoot out past like 2K, but then now you have a problem of optics. Like you
Yeah.
can't see that far. So you've
Yeah.
got this big fuck off like a Night Force. It's called a Night Force. I don't know what the Czech dudes put on. I can't remember. But like we would have put like a Night Force, you know, fucking 20, 30 power. I don't even know.
yeah.
But like, even with that, right? Even with the best optic and that flat shooting gun, come on, bro. Like, okay, so, oh, by the way, hey, someone handed me a Shy-Tech 408. I don't have any dope for this thing,
Right.
right? I don't know what the holds are.
For you folks out there, that's data on previous engagements. Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so maybe that thing is a laser, right? And it shoots fucking flat as fuck. And maybe you could hit a fucking 10-inch plate, 8-inch plate, head size target at 1438, 1,500 rounds. But in order to do that, you would have to fucking know.
Yeah.
Like you would have to know what to dial on that scope, depending on what kind of adjustments it have on it. You'd have to, if it's mil dot reticle or something, you'd have to know where to hold, right? Even a flat shooting gun, it's not going to be, it's not going to be point of aim, point of impact, dead on at 1438.
Plus, how much difference does it make? And it may not make that big of a difference from that elevation, but when you're firing plunging fire with a sniper rifle, you guys have to account for that too, right?
Well, it's bullet. Yeah, it's like any other ballistic projectile. It fucking comes out of the barrel. It has a rise. It reaches its max ord, and then it comes down. The math is all about you're on the come down.
Yeah,
and you need to know what the adjustment is so that you're hitting where you want to hit. It's no different than any other kind of weapon with an optic. You know, these calculations. It's just that the 408. If you're going to tell a fish story about how you shot someone at fucking click and a half, you're going to need a 408 or like at least probably a 408, maybe a 300 Win Mag or something. But even those, like, it's just a fish story. You're like, fuck no.
Our buddy Tim got a Bronze Star with a V for smoking a dude with a Barrett out past 2,000, but he used a Rofus round. He used an explosive fucking round.
Yeah.
And it may not even hit the dude directly. It may hit like next to him and fucking killed him or something like that. But yeah.
Dude, but this is like nitpicking stuff, just like big picture about this story. Like, and this is like the Anti-Hero guys just focused on that one story because like you could spend hours, dude. Every sentence, I'm like, no.
Well, check it out. So it's not really nitpicky because it builds a pattern of the fact that the fucking guy is lying. And going back to like, SOF is a small community, although it's probably 10s, 20,000 people, right? It's still a it's still a small community. If a dude would have crawled up onto the tower at Anaconda and in the course of a day or two smoked 20 motherfuckers, dude, he would be in a book before this. We would know who he was.
Yeah.
There, like, people would be teaching that. You're a sniper, dude. People would be teaching that shit at school. We know two dudes who crawled into a tower and over the course of, 36 hours or so, killed a couple baker's dozens worth of motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They were in a magazine.
Yeah.
It's in a book. People know who those dudes are.
Dude, let me pose this scenario to you. Because honestly, when I thought about it, I wasn't sure if this is like a war crime or not. I know it's like, depending on who's with you, it might or might not be, but in the book, okay, so this is this entering the valley of death, right? Like, if you take out all of his lies and his hyperbole, it's like a day at work. Dude, we've done this very exact thing. Leave Camp Brown.
Yep.
Although, I don't know if they left from Brown on this convoy, because he's in Orzgon in this story, but whatever.
I never heard Orzgon was popping the way ZKV or
I think at various times War Was Gone was because something about it rang a bell to me. Like that part of it didn't trip any, but I'm like, yeah, I think there was Anaconda is a hot, like where that place is a hot area. So, but okay, so these guys leave on a jingle truck convoy. So jingle trucks are these big fucking weird looking fucking decorated.
Yeah. It's like a dump truck on LSD.
Yeah. So this is how they move material. And we've been a party to this. Like when we went from KR to our fobs, like we escorted a jingle truck convoy. So we have experience. And matter of fact, our jingle truck convoy got lit up
every time.
They fucking smoked our very expensive satellite comm system with a perfect RPG
shot. Took out our SIGINT platform.
So we have some experience on these convoys, right? In his telling of the story, it was an 80 jingle truck convoy, which sounds like a lot, but in actual reality, when the ODA captain was contacted, it's a 200 truck total convoy with their vehicles in the jingle trucks. So, okay, that's a shitload, right? So big ass convoy, which, dude, okay.
Not unusual though.
No. So you're doing this big ass convoy. He tells a bunch of fucking outrageous stories about the drivers, like becoming scared or disloyal and damaging their own engine so they didn't have to drive. And when these trucks would become disabled, he says they used their wrecker and cross-loaded the stuff. This is a resupply convoy to Anaconda. Everything they fucking need, fuel, weapons, like all their shit, lickies and chewies, medical stuff, everything, right? Cross-load what they could and then use the wrecker to throw the truck off the side of the mountain because they couldn't get around it.
Yeah, and I don't understand this. Like, so it physically picked it up and threw it off the side, or shoved it off the fucking side?
It just says push it off. And when it's all said and done, he claims that they threw 40 jingle trucks off the side of a fucking mountain. The fuck you did, dude? That's outrageous.
Yes.
If you threw a jingle truck off the fucking mountain that somebody paid for,
right,
the SOTF or whomever would be like, what are we doing, boys?
Yeah, we got to pay that fucking guy
Captain,
back.
why are we throwing fucking jingle trucks down the mountain? No, you didn't.
Yeah, why not just leave the thing on the side of the road? And first of all, obviously you can pass traffic on this road because you could maneuver a wrecker.
He paints this picture as if it's like this. So it's simultaneously this impossibly windy mountain road where you can't pass jingle trucks. You have to throw them outside of the mountain. And also you can get AC-130 on station, AC-130 gunship.
Yeah.
To kill 400 Taliban that were encroaching on your convoy. And then when the sun comes up the next day, they're lying dead and wounded in the field. Braveheart, Game of Thrones style, his words, Braveheart, Game of Thrones style. And poor Tim Kennedy, he didn't want to. It cost, dude, I'm using his words. It did damage to his soul damaging.
But he doesn't have PTSD.
No, because he's not a pussy.
Right.
So, but is was damaging his soul. He had to have someone on the thermal determine which of the bodies had heat signatures so that he could shoot them with his SR-25 sniper rifle. Okay, so wait, hold on. I don't think any of that's true. I don't think a word of that's true.
Yeah,
nothing. They might have got an AC-130. Who cares?
Well, he called it spooky too, and we ain't called that thing
Vietnam.
Fucking shooting VC,
dude. Because
so he's probably never been in the presence of a Spectre,
but
dude.
Per actual like UCM, like per the law, if you determine. So I don't believe any of this happened, so it's hard to talk about it. But let's just say it happened, right?
Yeah.
So we're in an RG. First of all, you're in an RG with the crows, but you're shooting okay. So just so people don't know,
why would the dude on the crow
let's
you
describe
shoot
what
him?
an RG is. Yeah. RG-31, RG-33 is a mine-resistant vehicle specifically for Special Operations Forces. It has what's called a CROW system. It's a crew serve weapon system that's Mark 19 and or 50 cal mounted on the roof that you control with a monitor and a joystick inside the vehicle.
Yep.
To get out of the vehicle, it has this big fuck off door that goes like fucking
right.
It's like a vault, dude. You're driving around in a mine resistant vault. Okay. It's not the kind of thing you just pop out of casually to like shoot from. It's like,
no,
or getting out of the truck. It's like, you do all the work with the thing on the roof, the fucking thing. Okay. So
the computerized weapon system.
Yeah. Kill TV.
Yeah.
So in his claim, and he doesn't get into enough detail to like pull it apart. So it's like, the requirement comes up that he has to shoot dudes that are not quite dead yet on the Braveheart battlefield. He has the guy with the CROW system that has a thermal, determine which ones have heat signatures, call them out to him so that he can shoot them with the SR-25. Is that legal? If you had a wounded enemy combatant laying on the ground, Now we're talking about dead checking.
That's not legal.
It's not legal. Now this is weird because like if me and you are clearing a house, like this is what we're trained to do, right? Me and you are take down a house, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe you were the I was like the 3-man or something, right? And you know, you like on the way to your dominant corner, you had to fucking shoot a guy and pass him.
Yep.
There's a chance that I might shoot him again. We call it a dead check.
Pile on shooting.
Now, what they used to do, what you were probably trained to do at Fast Company when we weren't at war, was to fucking thump an eyeball,
Flick
right?
the eyeball.
Flip the eyeball, dead check. Okay, we got away from that because we don't want to die. Like guys like you and Fallujah figured out, no, we shoot them again.
Yeah, you shoot them until they stop moving.
I think that's when that started to become popular as Fallujah, right?
I mean, I thought it was a thing before that. It wasn't.
I don't think so. I think that's a departure from our normal. Like the first time I ever did like CQB training, it was definitely no one was talking about shooting motherfuckers again. It was like dead check means you do that.
I guess it was implied because you know we go into a room, say there's like 4 targets up, and you know I drop mine in my sector of fire. Then I go, even though I can hear you guys, and see you out of my peripheral engaging your targets, and by the time I get back to your side, they've already been got. I get them all too.
Well, yeah, right.
You know, but like you're saying, that's in a room. 24 hours hasn't passed.
Yeah.
Like, there's a thing called 5 S's and a T.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with enemy combatants, it's like the first one's fucking secure, perhaps, but one of those S's is safeguards.
C search. Fuck.
Whatever. It's like it's like secure.
Search, safeguard, seize, whatever. But
it's the correct way to treat an enemy combatant in a respectful fucking way, man. Like we're supposed to be the good guys. Everybody forgets
you have
that.
a requirement to render aid to wounded combatants.
Yeah, dude, we've
medevaced them.
We've medevaced Taliban.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, hey, Joe shot this guy with a 240.
Now, and I'm not judging. I don't want to say too much, but like, we don't always medevac these dudes. Sometimes they expire before you can medevac them.
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry.
Right.
You know, there's
look, if I'm fucking Tim Kennedy, right, and I'm out with my ODA and it's just us girls out there.
Yeah.
And you know, everyone that's in the truck with me is a trusted agent.
Not 200 trucks full of potential witnesses.
There you go. Officers and weirdos and fucking drivers.
The fuckers from another country.
Cooks, bakers, candlestick makers.
Yeah.
The fuck you're sitting there just doing violations for and so you know how long
he's a boot. He doesn't understand what LOAC is.
He says that he dead checked. He says, I don't know, I lost track of how many, but I shot steadily for 2 hours.
Dude, why would you burn through SR-25 ammo?
Oh, you wouldn't. And by the way, you definitely would. Here's the other thing. So he, before that part of the book, and I don't even want to read it because it's just stupid to read. I remember it pretty well. Before he gets to that part of the story where he's dead checking dudes for 2 hours, he's bingo on, he says he uses SBR over and over again. That's short barrel rifle. So it's M4.
I guess that's what they call SBRs now. Yeah, that's like new gun guy terminology or something. Yeah.
So he, at various times in this convoy, he's got a shotgun, an SBR, a SR-25, and his pistol.
Yeah.
At a certain point, before his dead checking thing, he says he's completely, now they're in a resupply convoy. He's completely bingo on all his fucking ammo, and all he has is pistol, which he's hugging to his body. He's in such a state that he's, you know, and there's nothing kinetic going on, like they're at a lull, but he's so freaked out that he's hugging his pistol to himself. This is how he describes it. Then the next thing you know, he's got ammo to be killing these fuck.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Match grade ammo. So, all right, I'm Tim Kennedy. I have an SR-25. I'm assuming that he, you know, did a workup with that gun or has dope for it, meaning that he has shot that gun at all the ranges he expects to be in combat at. So like me, you know, you get dope for 1 to fucking, with that weapon system, 1 to 600, 1 to 800. I'd go 1 to 800, have good dope for those ranges. You're going to have the holds. You're going to have the data on your little scope cap cover. You open it up. It's right there in case you do, you know, you got to reference it. You got all this shit dialed in for that gun. It's how you shoot it accurately, especially this SR-25, because that thing is not a, you know, bench rest bolt gun type thing. It's a fucking big M16. It's got some, you got to know how to, you got to take the play out of that thing. And the dope's important on that weapon system. Okay. He's got, now prior to deployment, we would take delinked machine gun ammo, 7.62 machine gun ammo, and get dope for that.
Okay.
Tim Kennedy's a buffoon. I almost guarantee that he didn't have dope for it's different grain. It's
Yeah,
a different grain,
performance.
different weight projectile, different amount of powder, different performance,
Yeah.
different bullet hits a different place. Gotta have dope for that. Tim Kennedy doesn't mention that in there. He doesn't say he's shooting D-Link 7.62. So I'm assuming that that his match grade ammo is a constrained resource. You're not going to waste it on fuckheads that are lit.
No.
These guys don't exist anyway that we're talking. These fantasy,
Right.
but okay.
Right.
So it's just a fucking absurd, dude. And this is after everyone's like that's talking about some podcasts is talking about the grenades thing.
Yeah.
Homie said that he had 55 hand grenades in a fucking rucksack.
50 pounds of
On
fucking
a
grenades,
fucking
dude.
convoy, bro.
Yeah.
And he's him and the Czech dudes have to like clear this fucking building, and he's like used like 25 fucking grenades in the bro. I've not thrown in combat.
Right.
I've thrown 6 hand grenades total, and it not once ever was it like, and this is just my personal bullshit.
Yeah.
They were always like into a space I was unsure of. I never heard anybody with a M67 frag grenade.
Have you
And I've been in way more combat than him.
Have you thrown 50 grenades in your entire career?
Live?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was in the grunts, probably like we used to throw grenades.
Okay.
Like take out the CACs, throw grenades, go out to Fort Irwin, throw grenades. Like we would just you'd be like I was in sniper platoon for most of that. I'd be like H&S Company grenade X, and then it would be like all the pogues would find some way not to be there, and it'd be like my stay platoon with like all the grenades. So we would like
Okay, cool.
we would like cook them off and fuck with each.
Yeah.
So I've thrown a bunch of grenades in training, 6 total, probably maybe 5, maybe 7, I don't know, but into like spaces I wasn't sure of.
I've thrown 1 grenade in combat, a lethal grenade.
Yeah.
I've thrown 1 lethal grenade in combat.
Yeah.
Me and Ben and Angry Greg were about to make entry into a building. I stopped him at the door, leaned around the corner, and chucked one of those fucking lethal TNT things into the fucking. I still got the pin for it.
I don't like
such an unusual occurrence that I still got the pin for that grenade.
Dude, I don't like fucking with grenades. And I figured you'd have thrown some in Fallujah. I thought you guys were just winging them everywhere.
Not lethal though. I threw a fuck ton of smoke grenades.
Okay.
To cross danger areas and shit.
Dude,
but that's the thing. Like even the grenades aren't that effective.
No.
Like they're just not.
They're not.
You know.
And they're heavy. And dude, like I had 2. On the command, like on my fob rob deployment, I had them in the truck. I had none on my body because I was doing a lot of shit from the truck. But on a deployment where I had to be on foot, commando deployment, I had two on my 2 M67 frags on the either side of my fucking blowout kit.
Dude, I carry, just so people know what a normal fucking loadout is for people in kinetic operations, right? I carried 1 frag grenade because here's the other thing. Like I've did so little, and that's why I ask you how many you threw in real life. I've done so little real training with grenades.
Yeah.
That I didn't play baseball as a kid. Like this thing in my brain, that frag grenade was going to be my last round, essentially. Bro. Like I was going to carry the frag that was going to take me out if I fucking ran out of ammo. So I carried 1 frag. I carried a couple flashbangs because I didn't want to go to jail for fragging innocent people.
Yeah.
Like I would rather flashbang a fucking room because I know it's not going to kill anybody in there anyway, than accidentally blow up women and kids that are fucking huddling in there. And then next thing you know, because I'm not Tim Kennedy, I'm going to Leavenworth for the rest of my fucking life, dude. Like
he writes in the book, that they're clearing some other. This is later in the convoy. They're clearing some set of buildings. Him and these ODA guys, and he doesn't say how many. He throws several hand grenades into a space.
Yeah,
and wounds and kills women and children in the space. He says it in the book, right? They ground medevac these people to Anaconda. This dude, the stories in here, they're so fucking crazy. So they ground medevac these wounded. He doesn't say specifically how many, it's just like several, a few women and children that he has to hear screaming and all this other stuff into Anaconda. As soon as they get to Anaconda, he falls asleep for 12 hours. Okay.
The adrenaline.
When he wakes up after being asleep for 12 hours, goes over to the med thing. And they're still they're still working on the wounded women and children, and they're still in there screaming 12 hours later. and then the medic, the 18 Delta, has to go like do something else. So he like makes Tim, he's like, hey, can you watch? Can you stand watching here? And we'll look after him. I'm gone. Sure, buddy. He goes in there and he picks up so crazy, dude. He one of the wounded girls who had like frag from his grenade on her stomach, her stomach. He picks her up and he He's gonna pick if any of this is real. None of this is real, but let's just
Like,
pretend it's real, right?
Bro, why are you moving the patient around, dickhead?
He's gonna pick up this baby, this little baby who's got a frag wound to the stomach. He's compelled. He needs to pick her up and comfort her, right?
Yeah.
She's crying and stuff. So he says he's never moved so slow in his life, even like stalking at sniper school. Over the course of several minutes, he scoops her up, and then he makes his way and he sits down in a chair while the mother's like looking at him and he's like nodding at her, like it's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like he's
This
having
is in this book.
fuck yeah. You got to read this thing. He's
Nah,
having
man.
this fucking moment with this woman, right?
Yeah.
And then he sits down in the chair where he holds and comforts this young girl for 6 hours.
So we're 18 hours into
We're
this
18
now.
hours in. Bro,
3 times 3, no big deal.
it's why it's
3 times
pointless to
6.
read it. Every single thing in this book is like that. It's all just this outrageous, and which makes me come to this conclusion. If he had actually been in any real, like, dude, I'm sure he was out there in Afghanistan and Iraq or whatever. I don't think he did fuck all because he would know how to lie better. Like some of the shit in here, it's like impossible for anybody that was out there to believe. It's just impossible. It's just not. Oh, here's another one. He has no Purple Heart in his record, right? And
or any Valor Awards.
Or any Valor Awards, which he does, like he does these public speaking engagements where they publish his bio, and then every time he does that and they publish his bio, it has him listed as a Bronze Star with V, and he doesn't ever correct anybody,
right?
You know, so okay, so no Purple Heart. His excuse for that is, well, I didn't have a real chain of command when I was out in Afghanistan because I was working as an LNO. Bullshit. You have a boss. You're in the SODIF or the Siege of SODIF, and you're here from 7th Group. Okay, I could see that, like, because people, dude, everyone I know is missing an award because shit they did was worthy of a Bronze Star and they didn't get it. Like, it's everybody, okay, I get it. And there's plenty of occasions where, yeah, like you're not with your command, so shit could fall through the cracks. But this is Tim Kennedy, whose whole entire mission in life is self-promotion. You think that guy rated a Purple Heart and he didn't immediately go get one? I'm not like that. And if I rated a Purple Heart, that's the one thing I'd make sure I had because. Dude, a bunch of shit is tied to that. Stuff for your kids, your medical tuition. It's nobody. Now, simps on the internet are like, I was in the 82nd with the guy who denied a medevac and never got a Purple Heart. Okay, yeah, that happens. What he describes is that when they get to Anaconda, they finally make him out on the battlefield. They try to medevac him, and he's like, "Fuck you." Like literally, like, "Fuck you, 18 Delta," and "Fuck you, Sergeant Major," or whatever. I'm staying out here, type of shit, right? Oh, by the way,
didn't happen in real life.
He's an E6 during all this, right? And he's already called the captain, the ODA captain, a pussy for not calling in airstrikes on a fucking building. Okay, he's already done that. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
And oh, by the way,
if you were ever in a ton of real combat, you'd know that airstrikes, even if this happened in real life, which it didn't, you would know airstrikes get denied all the time.
Yeah, that captain, the captain in question, the anti-heroes, Brent contacted him, had a conversation with him. The captain was aware that he was in the book, but didn't know, like, hadn't read it. Brent tells him what it says about him in the book. He gets so mad, he contacts Tim Kennedy, makes Tim Kennedy go to him physically in person and record.
It's like some libel shit.
Record a video, like, you apologize and say that the things you said about me in the book are not true on video.
Dude, that's probably coming out soon.
Well, this guy doesn't, like, he's like, I don't want to be involved in all this drama, but I want that on the record in case you don't, I just want it on the record. It might come out. Type of shit, right? So that's happening. But anyways, he gets to Anaconda. They finally go, "Hey, Tim, hey, Rambo, come fucking, let's check out your wounds." He's peppered up in his description, up his back and neck. And I think I wrote it down. It's like, it's either 2 hours again or 6 hours. Where he's like, it's just tweezers and iodine as they pull all this metal out of my body. 4 hours, dude. So you have so much frag in you that it's, I don't have it here. So much frag in you that let's be conservative and say it's 2 hours. It's either 2 or 6 hours. It's always hours of shit with him. But so let's say it's 2 hours. Just take what he says literally. They're pulling frag out of you.
Why wouldn't they just medevac you? They wouldn't do that
because he refused.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to, because some birds left, and he's like, no, the ODA guys are going to drive back through the Valley of Death. They're not going without me. So a bird came to medevac other people and the wounded Afghans. He refused to get on the Black Hawk or whatever, saying, because the sergeant major that he reported to back wherever was like, get Kennedy the fuck out of there on this bird. He's like, fuck no, I'm going back on the ground convoy. Okay. So, but back to the bro. you've got enough frag that it takes 2 hours to pull this fucking frag out of you, and you don't have a Purple Heart. You don't go to any other echelon of medical care. Bull fucking shit. No 18 Delta on the planet is gonna fucking put his fucking tab and his 18 Delta rating on the
Right.
line by allowing fucking this dickhead to completely
Some boot.
bull fucking shit, dude.
Because that 18 Delta would be fucked up, because basically that 18 Delta is going to tell his team sergeant, like, hey, hey, I'll be over here I'll be out in the hooch for the next 3 hours picking fucking
Bro,
frag out of fuck stick.
that 18 Delta, these people are professional medical people. They record all that shit. They're
Yeah.
Hey, there's an incident report for any fucking wounded fucking US soft guy.
Because if he gets all infected because of that shit,
There you
somebody's going to be
go.
like, hey, who the fuck treated you? And not to mention, hey, team sergeants aren't team sergeants because they're schmucks, dude. Sometimes it happens, but that's usually the something of the anomaly, right?
Yeah.
Like normally the team sergeants, when he's getting the reports throughout the end of the day, and I'll just be general about it, be like, okay, Tom, the 18 Delta, the medic that worked on Tim Kennedy, random name, just making some shit up. He'd be like, hey man, what'd you got going on today? Like, oh, hey, I worked on that. I pulled out the frag out of dude. He's good to
Yeah.
go. Hey, are you good? You got all this paperwork
No,
lined up?
because it gets tracked. Okay, so like you've been around when dudes
Yeah.
get medevaced, right? Next day at the fucking the fucking brief, or your daily team brief.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been witness to this many times. Hey, hey, so and so caught frag and he got medevac from the mission. He's in the fucking roll 3. We get an update the medic on his turn to brief the daily shit is like, hey, Tim, I went over, I checked on Tim, he's cool. Like he's, they're not going to fly into Germany. They are going to fly. It's an update to the team.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they track this shit. They don't just allow an E6 fucking dickhead from some LNO thing to come in and subvert their fucking process. It just doesn't. Civilians have no defense against this. They're unarmed against Tim Kennedy because they don't know. Dude, if you just read his book and this is your only frame of reference, you think that special forces people are like this. Like, yeah, man, it's all just like, these guys have so much testosterone. They walk around with fucking permanent fucking 10-inch erections, and all they want to do is go fucking. You can't get them to follow any orders. You can't get them to do what they're told. It doesn't matter what anybody else, bro. During the whole, like his whole description of the combat, it's like the way he says shit is like the Taliban were trying to slow us down, and I wasn't going to allow that to happen, and it's all like first person eye shit. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember of guys that we worked with where it would be like if this guy wrote that fucking book, and I don't want to say anybody's like name.
I don't know anybody this fucked up. I've known some dudes that are bullshitters, but I've known.
Like if Shaky wrote a book, man.
Yeah, well, Shaky wasn't a liar though.
Yeah,
he was just crushingly, dude. Just because it's funny and because people might find this funny. This guy is Shaky. This is our nickname for him.
That's a nickname.
He was like shorter than me, but like he's funny because he was like shorter than me, but he looked like Charles Bronson, and he was like jacked.
Yeah,
but he was jacked, but he couldn't run, swim, ruck. He could lift weights and make his body look good,
but had passed the courses,
passed everything. He was the most. I always used to say this. He was the most highly insertable retard in the history of people. Free fall, combatant diver. All the shit, recon. I guess that's it. Free fall dive. He was been through CQB courses, the whole shit. I don't want to get into Shaky stories, but he wasn't a liar. He was incompetent, right? But so this propaganda shit and how the military cosigns. I got another little tangential story. So,
or maybe like if Bo came back and wrote a book saying that he fucking assaulted through the Helmet
that
Valley
would be what it was.
with us holding on to his fucking
We'd
backpack.
be like, what the fuck?
You're like, bro, that did not happen.
When I worked at sniper school, a book came out called The Shooter.
Okay.
Gunnery Sergeant Jack Coughlin, Marine sniper in Iraq. Okay. So we know when you work at sniper school, everybody holding any kind of sniper billets in the Marine Corps of note. So they're on your radar. It's a very small. The sniper community in the Marine Corps at any given time is like 175 dudes or something. Okay. So we know everybody. This book comes out and we're like, Jack, who the fuck is this guy, right? Well, Hamblin and Mulder had knew of him because they were in 7th Marines in OIF 1.
Yes, they were.
And Coughlin was in the 7th Marine Regiment and managed to get his hands on an M40 somehow. Now, he had been in a sniper platoon in back in the day and was in Somalia and shit. and was walking around, had it in his record book that he was a 85-41 sniper, but like we dug into it and he never graduated the school, but he was granted the MOS through some sort of like fuckery.
Okay.
We could find no record of him attending and graduating the formal MOS providing school, yet it was in his record that he was an 85-41. So we're confused and angry. we're starting off confused and angry.
Yeah.
Because Mulder and Hamblin killed more people than fucking AIDS in fucking.
That's who I was talking about. The
They're
two,
right.
Yeah, the two guys we know that crawled
at
up on
the-
a tower.
At the
And,
time this book hit the street,
Yeah.
they, as far as anyone knew, led the Department of Defense in. This is before Fallujah, so
Right.
the game changed a little bit in Fallujah, but
Yeah.
but prior to then, they had the highest kill count in the DoD, and I'm because I'm working with these dudes at sniper school, and like they're psychopaths, and like me and the two of them,
right.
like when we linked up, we'd never met each other, and I didn't know them from Adam. But like I was crazy back then. Like with the sniper shit, I was a lunatic. It was my whole religion. I didn't care about anything else. And like I was there, like nobody would pass that fucking school that didn't rate that fucking Hogstooth under my fucking dead body.
Yeah, man.
So I meet Mulder and Hamblin, and like we figure out within like a week that we're away, all three of us, and then we like dude, the
Form a
pigs,
nucleus.
the four pigs, dude, the
Yeah.
poor fucking students. But so I'm already tight with them at this point. This comes out and we're furious, right? We're like, who's this fucking guy? We get the book. What we the book's like this a little bit. It's fucking crazy. So we get pissed. We find all the shit in the book. We start calling people, doing like Brent does. You know,
Yep.
we like calling people we know. We're like, Jack Coughlin, this fuck. And then we starting to hear like that fucking guy was running around in a Humvee in Ohio, and he'd show up fucking 9 hours after anything was going on and start fucking shooting at people while we're like napping. We're like, what
Yeah.
are you doing, dude? Like this kind of thing, right? So, and he's driving around in a Humvee with some dorky captain who's like the co-author of the book. So anyways, Mulder gets real pissed, and I kind of drop it. I'm like, this guy sucks. You know, what are you going to do though? Well, Mulder, the Marine Corps Times writes a positive review in an article about this book.
Of course, the shit like this works.
So Mulder is like, fuck this. And so he starts posting, like Facebook's like brand new back then or whatever. He's like,
Of course, he has.
he's
it.
like riding dirty on Facebook, like shitting on this book.
Yeah.
And then he calls the woman that wrote the article from Marine Corps Times and tells her, he's like, gets his shit together. He's like, hey, I need to talk to you. You know, this is your reputation. You've published things that are not true, and it's not your fault. You've been lied to. And he's got the receipts. He's like,
Journalistic
and
integrity.
so she's like, fuck. Oh no, I'm gonna write a retraction and all this other shit. Dude, like a day later, our SAF NCIC fucking sniper school's like, Mulder, get the fuck, what the fuck, Mulder? So Mulder goes in there and he's getting fucking screamed at, comes back, and he's like, oh, dude, the Marine Corps is real mad at me. So the United States Marine Corps
Of course, man.
was like, called down to sniper school, the public affairs office at Quantico or some shit, and is like, you fucking stop that Marine immediately, or we're gonna fuck burn all of you. You know, like, don't fuck around. Like,
So the Marine Corps,
the United States Marine Corps had decided that the propaganda value of that book
right?
was worth more than the truth.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here because the Antihero podcast that covered that in the first place was demonetized.
Yeah, and age restricted.
And age restricted.
Because, and that's a very good point, because Tim Kennedy has enough power in the media. Well, I mean, he's homies with Joe Rogan,
right.
and the DoD is linked with Facebook, YouTube.
Yeah.
It's all one. It's
Yeah. It's a fucking Leviathan.
So so the fucking blob got involved
The blob got involved.
because homie's video was at like 300,000 views
Yeah.
or whatever, and they're like, fuck. So that's interesting.
So we'll see how far the Green Beret community wants to take it. And I think they're doing a good job. Like in prison terms, you know, like that's their car,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. They got to police their car.
Yeah, they're policing up their own. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the Peckerwoods got an internal problem over
Dude,
there.
and it feels to me like they were just waiting for somebody to
Yeah.
because it's like a flood now. Like all these Green Beret dudes are like, yeah, most of them are saying like, yeah, I've known he was a fuckhead forever, but it's like who cares until
A lot of what people say is like, yeah, we all know the stories, but I'm too busy doing real life shit to give a fuck. And
Fair
you're
enough,
like, bro,
I
this
guess.
is real life
yeah,
shit.
it's real life shit because
This is showing you your military's fucking corrupt.
dude, and that guy Brent made a good point. He's like, this is dangerous too because like, you know, guys, you know, even though people shouldn't,
Yeah.
you can't stop. Like young men are drawn to the military, and so like high quality, well intentioned young guys that want to do something with their life are like, fuck, dude, I want to be a fucking soft dude. I want to be a fuck. And they look up to Tim Kennedy. They probably watch him UFC fight, and they're like, that
Yeah.
guy. Okay, so now you got this kid who's like, that's what I want to do. Goes through all the shit, finds himself in combat, and thinks it's reasonable to behave the way he read in that fucking book.
Well, let's peel this stinky onion a little bit further. So he's a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
Well, we talked with John Fitch. I mean, John Fitch is suing the fucking UFC for being a monopoly.
Yeah.
And we talked about the type of person Dana White may or may not be. You know,
Yeah.
he's at least the type of person to slap up his old lady in a fucking club.
He is for
You
sure.
know?
Yeah.
Well, now let's like look at the fucking nexus, man. Well, the UFC, we were gonna sit down and watch a movie or something last night, so we just started scrolling through shit. And the UFC's on the Disney Channel, on Disney Plus. Like I bootleg
You
like
can
my
watch fights on Disney.
yeah, dude. Like I bootleg my brother's fucking Disney Plus channel,
Yeah.
right? Like, and 'cause I'm not paying for that shit.
No.
And yeah, there's UFC shit on that.
It's weird.
So yeah, well, how does that mesh together? That there's UFC shit on Disney Plus. And
Well, we know
basically-
how because Rahm Emanuel, which one of the Emanuel brothers owns William Morris WME,
Okay,
which owns
that's right.
UFC and WWF or whatever the wrestling one is.
right.
The same media company owns that.
So everybody has sort of agreed to a certain point that mainstream media is fucking circling the drain.
Oh yeah, it's fucking toast.
But what everybody doesn't quite seem to understand is, look, folks, they're not going to burn down mainstream media or allow mainstream media to be burned down until their secondary fighting position, which is the alt media,
Yeah, until they take over the new. Yeah,
has been set up. And it
Yep.
already has been set
they
up.
got Rogan. They got
Yeah.
yeah,
Like whether these people are witting or unwitting, and I always say this, I don't know these people personally.
yeah.
Right. I don't know Sean Ryan personally. I don't know Joe Rogan personally. I don't know any of these people personally. But what I can see is fruit that falls off the tree.
Yeah.
And if they're putting forth people consistently within this bubble that are full of shit,
Yep.
like dude, Rogan's the first person I saw Latrell mention that he got pulled out of his team. He got assigned to Ghost Rider. Dude, it's
Someone
like,
wrote it for him. Yeah.
hey Marines, y'all want to get all fucking colic and angry and shit. The entire Iwo Jima Memorial is a fucking psyop. That's the second time they did that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
not
the flag, not the memorial, the flag.
right.
raising.
The flag
Yeah, yeah.
raising thing.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
fucking staged.
We've known that forever. Yeah.
We've known it for. I don't know if everybody knows this. The flag raising the Marines are famous for.
The
raising-
photograph.
The photograph of the Marine
100%.
flag raising on Mount Suribachi is a staged event.
And one or two of those dudes like
Killed themselves with alcohol.
well Ira Hate,
yeah.
Johnny Cash wrote a song, but like one of the dudes in that photograph wasn't part of the assault on Mount Suribachi, or one or two of them. Some of them were, dude.
Yeah.
Because in actual reality, the Marines did assault Mount Suribachi.
Yeah,
like
that
they did
happened
all
in
that
real
shit.
life. That happened in real life.
The photograph is just that thing took a life of its own.
Right. So and then who makes a movie about it? Oh, Clint Eastwood makes
Yeah,
a
there
movie
you go.
about it. Oh, and what's it called? Flags of Our Fathers.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. And what does it show you they do in the fucking movie? They pull those guys out and send them to go sell fucking war
Same
bonds.
thing they did with Barcelona. Fuck Barcelona up too.
Yeah.
Except Barcelona was a G enough to be like,
Fuck I'm going
fuck
back.
you, I'm going back.
Yeah, and then
that dude was a G.
And then he dies.
Italian American.
Yeah, hey, if you wouldn't
Just
get,
saying.
if you get the Medal of Honor, fucking retire, man. Don't go back and do nothing. Like we talk.
Dude, he
But,
married a WM and then he got smoked.
That dude was fucking.
Barcelona, you fucked up, bro. He needed someone to pull him aside and be like,
Don't do that.
"Nah, dude,
It was the 40s, man.
yeah,
They might have-
they were probably cool.
WMs were probably cool back then.
Yeah.
But basically, my point is that this is not a new thing. This Tim
No, no, no,
Kennedy
no.
being crafted into this fucking Ubermensch
No.
is not.
He's useful. And look, like these guys are taking the ticket and going for the ride. So like, there's financial incentives to this. He's a multimillionaire off this shit, which is it's just crazy because it's like, why wasn't the truth good enough? Like you really were a Green Beret.
Well, speaking of the truth being good enough, and here's my thing, because I don't really give a fuck about the nitpicky stories, right?
Yeah.
Like this Tim Kennedy thing. And this is a pretty good clip, so I'll just chunk this onto fucking YouTube. This whole entire Tim
Oh.
Kennedy thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, look, folks. I'm interested now that everybody's cool with outing people and talking about if you are really interested in the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Anti-hero, anybody fucking else, Valhalla Veterans VFT, another great channel, has like a 3-hour breakdown with with like a panel of fucking Green
I saw that
Berets,
one.
you know.
Yeah, you sent me the link. Yeah.
If you dudes are really as into the truth as you fucking say you are, let's go further back. I'm a bomb guy. I like looking to the left of the explosion. Well, the explosion is Tim Kennedy's in Afghanistan acting like a fucking asshole and lying about it.
Yeah.
Well, what's to the left of that? How did he get to Afghanistan?
Yeah, what are we doing there?
What are we doing in there?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then what are we doing in Iraq? And then so basically you get to the point of there were no weapons of mass destruction and 3 buildings just happened to fall down because 2 airplanes fucking
Dude,
hit
I
'em.
think a lot of guys are ready to talk like that. Like, I hear that a lot.
And I'll just put that from myself. This is just Cody's opinion. Until we start talking about that as a veteran community,
Yeah, who cares about that?
You ain't shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so what? Our podcast has like 3 followers. Hey, who gives a fuck? At least I'm willing to talk about it.
Yeah,
Like-
that's valid.
Like, so how truthful you guys want to get?
Dude, and
Like-
and the truth is fine no matter what. Like, I could even accept, I say this all the time, I could accept someone that has the same historical perspective we do, but says, but guess what? I'm about it anyway, because that's what it takes for me to fucking just be honest.
But nobody
be-
wants to be a sociopath like that.
No. We're supposed, yeah.
Because the role is not being
But even me, I know it was all fucking for naught.
yeah.
But if I had it all to do over again, I would do it. I fucking liked it. Like, I can't imagine myself having lived any other kind of life, and I wouldn't have preferred to. Yes, I would have preferred for it to be that I wasn't lied and manipulated into it, but it's still on like 100% selfish personal reasons. Like, I needed to do all that shit. Like, it's because I did all that shit that I'm like, I'd say bring it, like whatever's next, like I'm ready. Like, I don't care. Like, I care, but it's like, I don't regret having been tricked and manipulated into that.
If
shit.
they were like, check this out. This is the Hesse Castle region of Germany, and we export mercenaries. That's what the fuck we do. You know,
if they're honest about getting you into it.
yeah, like
They do trick you.
now Eric Prince is of the Hesse Castle, like fucking lineage,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking about like Blackwater is the fucking river that a Templar castle is next to in Germany, right? And he's the one coming out saying like, yeah, I can do this in fucking 3 days with this private band of mercenaries over here.
Bro, that's kind of what Russia does with their, like,
Yeah.
they make it explicit. They're like, hey, look, some of you guys are real fuck ups. We give you a chance to fucking redeem
Right.
yourself in the eyes of Mother Russia, earn some money. And it's
But
like,
so what then that brings up is you're dealing with, you no longer get the sheepdog Tim
Yeah.
Kennedy. You no longer get the sheepdog narrative of, oh, hey, we're all these veterans out here and we're all just doing it for good, and we're
makes it a
all
little harder to make the bag selling coffee.
yeah, it makes it harder making the bag of coffee if you're like, hey, I really enjoy shooting people in the face, and even though there's externally really nothing that could really ever fuck our country up, we can only ever fuck ourselves up
Yeah.
by becoming degenerates. Even though externally everything is cool, it's called ground branch. Like, I still want to go
Yeah.
fucking shoot people for money.
Yeah.
You know, or that Delta dude that became a mercenary to whack dudes for a professional or a successful Jewish gentleman. Comstock.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh,
Yeah.
Dale Comstock.
Yeah, he talks about going
I
and
didn't
being
know.
a
I didn't watch
mercenary
it.
for a fucking Israeli businessman where they're just
I saw his
whacking terrorists.
He was on Sean Ryan or something.
no, I don't think he was on that one, but
Well,
what I'm
I-
saying is a different paradigm. You don't tie yellow ribbons around the trees for dudes who
No,
just like murdering people.
it's business. So, like, if you're the bro vet, you're selling coffee. Okay, so the more people see you as that's like one of the kind of things I don't love about the anti-hero show. It's
Yeah.
like they're like first responders and to me, soft vets and first responders, it's not the same thing. Like, I'm
No.
not trying to just be a salty like chip hater, but it's like first respond. Okay, whatever. But what'll be interesting to see is if, I know Joe Rogan won't, but if Sean Ryan, because he's a soft guy, I feel like he has more of an obligation to do this. I think that dude's an op for sure. But if he's not, what he should do is fucking say publicly, hey, look, I was deceived by these. If Sean Ryan could read this fucking book
Yeah.
and then not have the same reaction to it that we do, then he's never been in combat, or he's just like willfully lying for money. Like, there's no way I'll stand by this. Like, if someone had a gun to my head, dude, there's no, not even a soft guy. There's any person with significant ground combat experience in Afghanistan that would not reject this outright.
Yeah, you could have
But
been from like Restrepo.
Now, there's a chance Sean Ryan will probably say, well, I never read his book. I just let him come on my show. and
Okay,
bullshit."
cool, but now
Well,
you
cool,
have.
correct the record.
Yeah.
Or get Brent on your fucking show.
Yeah.
Platform Brent. Let the truth you have a huge platform, like #2 podcast in the world.
Yeah.
Give the truth a fucking some air,
Yeah, I mean, because really that's what
Because this
should
motherfucker's
happen.
tricking people into fucking signing up for some shit that it ain't like that. It's not like how he wrote it.
No.
Not at all. He'd be lying.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.